Alright, Sledder, I've been hearing from your corporate goons all day that you want something from me. So now that I'm here to spill the beans. Well, first off, Therme, you will address me as Mr. Sledder. Show some respect. Secondly, due to your recent actions, you've been out of line in the past couple of weeks. So, I've decided to suspend you until after the Extreme Apocalypse PPV. Now get out of my office before I fire you. What's up, YouTube? This is Mathos97 and welcome back to an episode of WWE 13 Universe Mode, and today I'm doing something a little bit differently. As you know, there's all the copyright claims going around by YouTube, and I got a claim on my last episode of WWE 13, and it was for some of the themes that I used during the entrance. And, I mean, while it is going to take away my monetization, I'd like to keep the themes in there just because, you know, I spent the time, I went through, talked to people, most people anyway, and I went through and got certain themes for certain superstars that I thought would fit. And I don't know, I don't really want to have to use in-game audio either, because I don't think that's going to solve anything. And I could use, you know, royalty-free music, but that's going to be really difficult to find. And they would probably be a lot of instrumentals with anything like that. So I'm actually going to try something. I mean, I don't know if this is going to solve anything, but if I can commentate over the audio instead. Like, for example, the theme in the background right now, Forza's theme got a claim on it. And I'm going to try and see if I do, commentary over the entrances, if that's going to get a different result or something. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe if I talk over the entrances, that's not going to get a claim. I don't know if maybe... I don't know. It's I've gone into the whole issue before where I've used these themes for a while and never gotten a claim, which is what confused me when the last episode got struck with an audio claim. And so yeah, I'm gonna see what happens if I actually talk over the whole thing. If not, maybe I'll just cut out entrances. I mean, except for pay-per-views, because pay-per-views, the entrances are kind of, I don't know. What do you guys think I should do for this series? Let me know in the comments down below if you've got any ideas on how I could change up the format of these videos a little bit to try and get around some copyright, maybe. I mean, if this video doesn't get a claim or something, then maybe I'll stick to this kind of format. If not, then I don't know what I'm going to do if I'm going to... I don't know. I've got there are probably a few different things I could do, but let me know in the comments down below if you've got any ideas on if I should just cut the entrances out and just upload the gameplay, or what. Because, I mean, the last video, it did get some sort of thing where it was blocked in, I think, Germany. I had a claim on Forza's theme, which was by Metallica, The Memory Remains, and, what is it, Jesse Sullivan's was Falling Apart by Zebrahead. And I got claims on both of those, and both of those superstars are in this episode, as you'll see later on. But anyway, yeah, so just give me some ideas down in the comments how I could... If you're okay with me cutting out the entrances, let me know, because, I don't know, this is a series, I put a lot of effort into this series, and personally, I'm okay if it doesn't get monetized. I mean, I would like it to be, just because, I don't know, I put a lot of effort. Well, that's not really the whole point. It's not about it getting monetized. I just don't like it getting blocked in any country, because, say, you know, the last one was blocked in Germany, and say I have people in Germany who watch this video, and they watch this series, and then all of a sudden they can't watch it because it's blocked there. I mean, that's really the more important reason. If I just get a match third-party content, I'd be okay with that, I guess. But, I mean, I do this more for my people, what am I saying? I do this series more for my wrestling clan, league, whatever it's called, but with UCW, because I went through the whole process of getting all the wrestlers and stuff like that, and this is just a series. I put a lot of work into it, and I've got a lot of big storylines coming up for the future episodes, and I don't know, people in UCW have been asking me why I don't transfer this to 2K14, and it's because it took me a while to go through and get all the superstars, get all the themes and stuff like that. And then plus right here, I mean, I've got everything I need in WWE 13 at the moment. And plus, my WWE 2K14 Universe Mode, I've already got all that other content over there. I've got a whole bunch of WWE stuff. I kind of want to keep the two separated, which is why I'm keeping this in WWE 13. Sorry about that. But, yeah, that's the whole deal with why I'm still in WWE 13. And for those of you who aren't in UCW, don't really care. I probably just not blabbed, but I just probably like wasted some of your time, so I apologize for that. But anyway, in this matchup here, we have a rematch from last week. It's Xander James versus Forza, as last week Therme came out and interrupted the match as the lights went out, and then we saw Therme waking up the referee with Xander pinning Forza, and that's how that match ended, with Xander getting the win. And since then, we just saw a few moments ago that Sledder suspended Therme until after the Extreme Apocalypse PPV, saying that Therme was out of line with his actions, and I guess this is his punishment, and that's definitely a step in the wrong direction for the former UCW heavyweight champion Therme, as now not only has he got himself into trouble, but Xander's now got this rematch here. And I wouldn't say Xander's in trouble. I mean, Xander's a very capable superstar. He's a legend. He can take care of himself, and as I say that, he takes a leg drop there from Forza, and now Forza here clenching that fist and looking to potentially set up Xander James for that choke slam he's been using, and he's got him up by the throat here, and there's the choke slam. He takes Xander James down into the mat with the choke slam with huge force there. And now Forza goes into the cover. One. No, Xander James kicks out. And yeah, that is a little bit of an issue going back to WWE13. The gameplay isn't quite as smooth, and you know, the one count glitches and all that kind of stuff. But I've already explained why I would want to keep it over here. Also, this whole copyright issue thing came around at a bad time, because this is the point where I'm trying to, like, I was already going in to change up my format in these videos, so I'm going to be putting a lot more time and effort into it. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing on my part, because there were like storylines that I had ideas for, and I'm already thinking like a few months ahead. Like, I've got several ideas that just sort of pop into my head, and I kind of I keep them in like a mental record sort of thing. I try to keep the ideas in my head and maybe possibly use them. And like with just doing 1 or 2 matches a show, maybe even 3, that still really isn't enough. I don't know, I don't want to say like enough time for me to actually go in and try to get all the storylines to progress, because I mean, with only 2 matches, you're really limited to what kind of superstars are being used and what kind of matches people can compete in. Whereas if I just do the whole show like I am tonight and in future videos, then I'll be able to actually progress storylines further, and I'll be able to book more matches to progress more storylines and in more detail like that. But Xander into the cover, 1, 2, and Forza just manages to kick out there. And now one problem with me having to talk for like 40 minutes straight is that I will occasionally probably need to get a drink. Also, because of like the time that I'm doing this, I might end up splitting the commentary over 2 days, because, you know, it's like a 40-minute video, and this is usually about the time I only have about 40 minutes to record or so. And if I'm like any late getting started or something like that, then I'm not gonna have as much time, so it might take a little bit longer to produce the videos. I'm thinking maybe I can try to put one out once every week, or like weekly or bi-weekly. I'd like to do. It might be more like bi-weekly, because, you know, it takes a lot longer to record one of these videos than it is a WWE2K14 video. Not only because this is longer, obviously, that's kind of a derp thing there, but anyway, I gotta address it later as we see Forza put down Xander with that choke slam. And in case you don't remember, Forza was brought in by Sledder. 1, 2, 3, and Forza gets the win over Xander James. Bit of payback from last week, but Forza was brought in by Forza was brought in by Sledder once Sledder took over the ownership of UCW and running operations. I don't know, but maybe you have to think Therme could have potentially been a threat to Forza, and maybe Sledder has just suspended him to keep his top superstar Forza in better shape. I don't know. I don't know exactly what Sledder's idea is behind this whole suspension of Therme, and I'm not going to say it's completely uncalled for on the part of Sledder, because Therme, he did interrupt a match last week, so I don't know. I guess there's a little bit of fairness in it, but was it addressed properly? I guess we'll have to find out. What do the superstars in the locker room think, and more importantly, what do the board of directors think? I mean, what does Xander think? You know, Xander, he's the former owner of UCW, and he's now part of the locker room, so I don't know. The board of directors maybe could be looking back at Xander as a potential owner if Sledder makes some mistakes, then Xander's always right there to potentially get his job back. But now we're going to move into this tag team contest here as we see Drake Savior, and he'll be teaming up with Keenan X. As we know, Drake Savior and his brother Chris Savior will be taking on the Clique, Shane Cooper and Colin Watson not this Sunday, but at the Extreme Apocalypse pay-per-view for the tag team titles. As we know, Chris Savior is one half the tag team champions, and Shane Cooper's the other half, is that whole issue that went down at Overboard, where first off, Jesse Sullivan turned his back on Keenan X, where he DDT'd him into the mat with his finisher, and then dragged Chris Savior into the cover, and then Jesse Sullivan just left, so that made the Disciples of Darkness your new tag team champions. But then, post-match, Chris Savior was celebrating Shane Cooper as Chris was turned around, gave him an RKO, and that not only marked the dissension of the Clique, well, then what the Clique was, to also the dissension of the Disciples of Darkness, and now we've got Shane Cooper joining the Clique, so bit of a cash change there, I guess you could say. But anyway, speaking of this, we have a tag team match, as we're going to see two superstars who will be competing in that tag team match at Extreme Apocalypse, as it will be Colin Watson and Shane Cooper on the same team, defending one half the tag team titles, as both halves of the titles will be merged. So we've also got Shane Cooper, one half the tag champions, Chris Savior, the other half, and the two belts will be merged into one championship. And the question is, who will walk out the champions? Will it be the Clique, Shane Cooper and Colin Watson, or will it be the Savior brothers, Chris and Drake? But anyway, nice suplex there from Drake, and a nice enziguri kick there from Keenan X. And Keenan X, speaking of him, he's been wanting to get his hands on Jesse Sullivan. Last week, Jesse was in a matchup against Drake Savior, and Jesse Sullivan was in the middle of the match, and Keenan X came out to ringside. Well, he came out to the stage, and he was yelling stuff at Jesse Sullivan, got him distracted, and then Jesse Sullivan pretty much forgot about the match, ran out there, and he got into a little bit of a brawl with Keenan X. That was eventually resolved, but I'm sure that's not enough for Keenan X. He wants to get Jesse Sullivan one-on-one in a match, as you see a nice drop kick there to Colin Watson. And I mean, this gives Keenan X a bit of a chance to vent some of his frustrations here. Nice corkscrew moonsault there, or corkscrew splash. I don't even know if that's really can be considered a moonsault, but Colin Watson and Shane Cooper, partners with Jesse Sullivan as part of the Clique, and so this gives Keenan X a bit of a chance to vent some of his frustrations on those close to Jesse Sullivan. And oh, what a tiger bomb there! Dropped Colin Watson right on the back of his head, but no, Colin Watson still kicks out there. And now Shane Cooper, he's got Drake Savior whipped into the corner there, as now Colin Watson, big neck breaker there to Keenan. And now look at this, Drake Savior perched up there on the top rope, but Drake Savior counters now, and a big crossbody taking down Shane Cooper, as Colin Watson now Irish whips Keenan X and sets him up for a hurricanrana there. There's now Colin Watson beginning to gain control over Keenan X, and Shane Cooper here. Oh, he's got a bit of a colossal clutch submission hold here on Drake Savior, and it looks like the Clique are in control at the moment, as Keenan X had to go save Drake. And now Savior takes him down there with a nice head scissors. And now, meanwhile, there's a nice reverse neck breaker there from Colin Watson, and a big kick to the face now by Colin Watson, but Shane also kicked Drake Savior in the face. And now Shane Cooper, ooh, big jawbreaker there from Keenan X there. I believe that was his finisher, as Shane, he had the submission hold locked in, and Keenan went over to help. And now what is this, a jawbreaker to Shane Cooper? As I mean, Keenan, he could have had the pin on Colin Watson, but instead he went over to save Drake Savior. And now could that have cost them the win here? Ooh, big backbreaker there from Keenan X, as Shane Cooper and Drake Savior duking it out on the outside. Big kick to the face by Keenan X. And now Keenan, there's a kick to the gut, and a DDT. As now Colin Watson's busted open, and I think Keenan X was busted open a little bit earlier as well. Yep, there's the cut on his head. And now Keenan off the ropes, doing a little bit of dancing here. and finishes it off with the leg drop. And there's an RKO by Drake Xander as Colin rolls out of the ring. And now Colin Watson looking to fire up the crowd here. Could be close to getting the victory here over Shane Cooper as he has to get him away from the ropes. Hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. And the team of Drake Xander and Keenan X get the victory over the Click here tonight. As a strong showing there from Keenan and Drake, as they made a pretty good tag team, but it's not going to be them competing for the tag team titles. It's only going to be Drake Xander and his brother Chris, and I'm sure they have a bit more of a better connection. That I'm not saying Keenan X and Drake Xander they weren't on the same page here tonight. That's not what I'm saying at all. But just that Chris and Drake Xander, they're brothers, so the bond between them, the connection between those two, I mean, I'm sure they could work together a bit better. They'd be a little more focused with each other. They'd be able to work together. So if this is any sign as to what could go down at Extreme Apocalypse, well then at the pay-per-view we may be looking at new tag team champions. But a big victory there for Keenan X and Drake Xander to build momentum. And now we're moving on to our next matchup here, as it looks like Lil Caesar coming out to the ring. As last week he had a matchup against the Ghost, and Caesar ended up losing that match. He did put up a very valiant fight, as he did also when those two faced off at the Overboard pay-per-view for Ghost's International Championship, but on both occasions Ghost ended up victorious. As speaking of Ghost, he will be defending his International Championship in a unification match, as he'll be the UCW International Champion Ghost going one-on-one with the UCW Hardcore Champion Richard Thompson, as the belts will be unified into one. But as we can see, the Ghost now coming out to the ring, so it looks like he'll be facing Lil Caesar once again here tonight. And could the third time be the charm for Caesar? I guess we'll have to find out if Caesar can indeed defeat the Ghost and pick up a big victory here. And I mean, with the titles being unified, that also unifies the two divisions of contenders. So now it's going to be a lot more difficult to get yourself up there for a title match for the, whatever it's going to be called now, the Hardcore International Championship, or, you know, just the whatever the two belts will merge into. It's going to be a lot more difficult to get up there in contention for a title shot, as now not only is there the contenders from the International division, but there's also the contenders from the Hardcore division. And so you have someone like Caesar. A victory here could definitely put him up on the top of the rankings, but even then he may not be the #1 contender once the pay-per-view is over. As, you know, you've got the former Hardcore champion Ryan Mitchell. He's been doing not so great, but still he is a former champion, so he would be near the top of the ranks as well. We have Max Bell. He's been doing pretty good as of late. He was in that Hardcore Championship match, so he could always put up a fight there. We have Amazing X, potentially. I think he was also in that Fatal 4-Way. How am I already forgetting who was in it? I don't know. I'm not good at this stuff. I'm just thinking of things off the top of my head, but Caesar now looking to start things off with the momentum with a nice arm trap neck breaker there. As he, well, I don't know. I think that's what it's called. That's what I'm going to call it. But a Hurricanrana there from Ghost. As Ghost, like I said, he's already got 2 victories over Caesar. And the third one here could pretty much, while I said Caesar with a victory could put him near the top of the rankings for in the championship picture once Extreme Apocalypse is passed, but at the same time a loss here would, you'd have to say a loss here would definitely knock him out of the title picture, as Caesar puts him down there with a nice neck breaker to the Ghost. And now anyway, Caesar counters and has Ghost by the arm, now ducks behind. And once again, with that half Nelson neck breaker, no, that's not what it's called. I don't know. I saw that in a YouTube comment one day, but I don't remember what the actual move is called. But I'm going to call it the half Nelson neck breaker. And that kick may have just broken the nose of the Ghost here, as now he gets taken down by a leg sweep, but Ghost fights back here. And a big knee to the face. Ah, refreshing. Anyway, so yeah, okay, I had to get a drink. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, big kick there. Nice roundhouse from Caesar. Almost caught Ghost in the chin, more in like the chest area. And now another Hurricanrana there. Frankensteiner from the Ghost. And now a big kick to the face. Springboard kick there. A bit of a disaster variant. And anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. But Ghost back suplex there, little Caesar. And Caesar when he became the #1 contender, that was a few months ago, as it did eventually it took a pretty long time to actually get these two to square off. Caesar won the #1 contender spot way in advance, but he did get a victory over Ryan Mitchell to become the #1 contender, and then, of course, eventually Ryan Mitchell went on to become the hardcore champion. But Caesar, he's got a victory over Ryan Mitchell, so that could definitely amount to something as far as going into the future with the unified title. Should they ever face off again, Caesar's got a little bit of that confidence. But the two did face off once before in the UCW versus community tournament over on the, well, he was the Southtown Sheriff. Now he's just sort of Sheriff Sledder. Now with, he sort of changed his name up a little bit. But he is on my channel, and there was he did this whole tournament thing. And Ryan Mitchell got the victory over Caesar there. That was a while back, but as far as these two matching up now, they'd be even at 1 apiece. As now, big dropkick there from the Ghost. And now Ghost back in control here as he's got Caesar in the headlock. But no, Caesar counters into a headlock of his own. And now Ghost has Caesar by the arm. Nice backbreaker there. But he's not done yet. Turns it into a nice side Russian leg sweep. Beautiful combination there from Ghost. As now he's got Caesar up on his feet with an Irish whip, sending him over the top rope. But Caesar counters with an elbow to the face, maybe a forearm. And there's a springboard senton there from Caesar, but goes back to his feet and takes him down once again with a Frankensteiner. And now Ghost with a headlock here, but a nice counter from Caesar as Ghost takes him down there with a hip toss. Went for a drop kick, but a nice counter from Caesar. As now both superstars, a bit of a stalemate at this point, just back and forth with the counters here. And now a punch to the face, and he follows it up with a second right to the jaw there of Lil Caesar. And Ghost looking to get fired up now. Super kick to the face. And Caesar could be moments, well, Ghost could be moments away from the victory here. Caesar could be moments away from being out of this one. Big kick to the face. And now just slammed him face first into the mat. And that busted open Caesar. As now there was a kick to the leg. And now Ghost puts Caesar in the corner. Big clothesline and follows it up with a bulldog. Nice combination there. Once again from Ghost. As Ghost now could maybe be motioning for the end here. Could be signaling for the finish. And a skull-crushing finale there. And now into the cover. 1, 2, 3. And the Ghost gets another victory over Caesar. So it looks like the third time was not the charm for Lil Caesar. As Ghost now getting a big victory heading into the title match versus Richard Thompson. Uh-oh, but it doesn't look like the victory's enough here, as now he's got a steel chair. But here comes Amazing X. Amazing X comes down, scaring Ghost off. Well, not really scaring him off, but he saves Caesar. Wait a minute! Chair shot to the head of Lil Caesar, and what the hell? Amazing X has just turned his back on Lil Caesar. What? I'm in shock here, folks. Is for those of you who don't know, Amazing X and Caesar were former tag team partners, former friends, and in the real UCW, form the stable of Armageddon. But now Amazing X, not only did he just turn his back on Caesar, but he turned his back on the fans, as he just attacked one of his friends. And I don't understand the reasoning behind Amazing X's attack there, the reasoning behind his actions. But we've got to focus now on this upcoming match, as it looks like we've got Max Bell coming down to the ring, and he's getting ready to prepare. As last week he had a match, no, maybe he did, I don't know, but Max Bell, he was a part of that Overboard Fatal 4-Way match for the Hardcore Championship, and he did come close to getting a win against Ryan Mitchell and the others at that match. But, I mean, he was the UCW Television Champion at one point. He won it in his debut match, but then that title was taken away, and that's how he got himself into the Hardcore Championship match. He earned himself that spot. Sort of like trading in the championship for the shots at the title. Not really trading it in, as it was really, he didn't have a choice. But now we've got Richard Thompson coming down to the ring. He is the Hardcore Champion, And what a big opportunity this is for both superstars to build some momentum. Max Bell, a victory here, would put him in nice position for the championship once the belts are merged after Extreme Apocalypse. Whereas Richard Thompson, we saw Ghost get a victory not only this week, but the week before. So Richard Thompson, he kind of needs... Sorry, my cat is getting into stuff. But Richard Thompson kind of needs this victory to stabilize his momentum along with Ghost. As Ghost, you know, we can't let him get too far of a lead now with too many victories. Richard Thompson could start to fall behind. And he's not... I don't know. Okay, I'm kind of getting stuck there, so I got to move on. Anyway, we're now into this matchup. As Max Bell, you know, he hasn't been around in Universe for too long. But then we look at a superstar, like, he wasn't here for the whole thing. He came in around, more, I want to say, like, June or so, and it's now getting close to about August. Yes, it actually is August. It's almost the end of August, almost September, as the Extreme Apocalypse pay-per-view is approaching, fast approaching, as it is in September, second week of September, or maybe the first. That was the second. I don't know. I'm confused myself. But anyway, but then we look at a superstar like Richard Thompson, who has been in this universe mode even less. He hasn't had as much time with UCW as Max Bell has, so both of these superstars still a little bit green, I guess you could say, in UCW. Richard Thompson, though, since he's debuted, he won a few over-the-top rope challenges in what was in preparation for the Overboard pay-per-view, the Overboard match, which eventually did not happen as there was a power outage at the Overboard pay-per-view, so we never got that match. Speaking of which, there is supposedly, Sledder claims that he had been working on a solution with the UCW Board of Directors as far as getting the championship match at Final Destination, because whoever had won that match was going to get a UCW championship match at Final Destination, but now that that match never took place, they've got to come up with some sort of solution in order to get that contendership spot. So we'll have to see what the Board of Directors and Sledder come up with, or should I say Mr. Sledder, as now he wants to be addressed as, or at least that's what he said to Therme earlier. Maybe that only applies to the superstars. I don't know. But anyway, Max Bell was also, you had to think, was supposed to be competing in that match. But Richard Thompson, he got a few victories in over-the-top rope battle royals. One of them getting him his matchup, his contendership spot in that fatal four-way for the Hardcore Championship. And that is what got Richard Thompson into the match. He went on to win, defeating Ryan Mitchell. And then the following week, a few days after that match, Ryan Mitchell ended up using his rematch clause in a match against Richard Thompson, and Thompson retained. So Richard Thompson, I think he's actually undefeated in this universe mode so far. So since debuting, he's been undefeated. He's got some pretty big victories, and that's what landed him as the Hardcore Champion. And Max Bell, he's got some pretty big victories as well. But Max Bell, he's got to earn himself back up into the top of the rankings for that Hardcore Championship division. I don't know, what should we call the title once they're merged? Should we call it the Hardcore International title? Or should we come up with something new? Should it just be the International? Should it be just the Hardcore? If you guys have any suggestions, feel free to let me know down in the comments section below. I don't know, I kind of think the Hardcore International sounds okay, but like, I don't see anything wrong with it, but I don't know, there could be some better name out there that maybe you guys have some sort of idea for what you want the title to be called, and I don't know, maybe it'll be better than mine. We'll have to see exactly what that could be. Maybe I shouldn't keep both the names, maybe, I mean, I could always, you know, make a bit of a new belt and try to, like, merge the two into something, maybe, I don't know. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with the title yet. I mean, I could make a new belt, or like I was saying, I could just keep one of the titles. One could be the quote-unquote superior title and sort of take over as the championship. So I could always do that. But back to the match now. Max Bell, big knee to the face. Excuse me. Big knee to the face there of Richard Thompson. And there's a shooting star. But no, Richard Thompson gets up and manages to avoid it there. And now, trapping the arm of Max Bell there. And now, just pulling back a bit of a crossface there. A bit of a modified crossface, I should say. But Max Bell takes him down with a nice snapmare. And now, springboard. There's the moonsault into the cover. 1. And no, Richard Thompson kicks out. But what athleticism there from Max Bell as he went almost the whole way across the ring to hit that splash on Richard Thompson. And now roll up here. 1, 2. No, Richard Thompson counters. 1. And no, Max Bell kicks out. But that could have been a big victory there. Max Bell almost stole that one. He almost caught Richard Thompson off guard. But no, Richard Thompson did kick out. And now, big kick to the face as Max Bell trying to fight him off. And there's another kick to the face. As now, he picks up Richard Thompson. But a nice knee lift from Richard Thompson to block. And now a small package here from Max Bell. 1, 2. And no, Richard Thompson kicks out once again at 2. Very close calls there for Richard Thompson. As now he just blocked the chop there. Or maybe it was the backhand. I don't know. But now Max Bell rolls him up once again there with a bit of an SOS style. Would that be like a forward leg sweep? Forward rolling leg sweep? I don't know. I actually kind of, I don't know. That sounds legit. I don't know. But Max Bell now, springboard Hurricanrana there. Very innovative move there from Max Bell. Got to think with your head, I guess, is what he was trying to tell us. I don't know. But now, he's got him trapped there. And there's a bit of a, yeah, I'm just going to call it the pedigree. I'm trying to come up with names for it. But Max Bell now taking a moment to taunt, and I don't know if that was really the greatest idea. 1. No, Richard Thompson kicks out as Max Bell, he played it up to the fans a little bit too much there. Probably should have gone in for the cover, but he didn't, and Richard Thompson's still alive in this matchup, as that was a little bit of a glitch there. But now, Richard Thompson, oh no, now he's looking to unleash his finisher. There's that shoulder breaker, like an elevated shoulder breaker. And now Richard Thompson dragging Max Bell into the cover. 1, 2, and no, Max Bell stays alive there. That was a pretty close one. But Max Bell somehow kicked out. I'm really surprised that Max Bell kicked out, as that was the move Richard Thompson has used in all of his matches to get his big victories. But Max Bell managing to stay alive here, as now Richard was just working the arm there. Both superstars punching each other in the face at the same time. And Max Bell looked like he was going for a drop kick to the knee, but Richard Thompson cut him off. And there's a DDT to the foot, so I guess turnabout's fair play. Both superstars going after the leg. And now there's a small package here once again from Max. 1, 2. No, almost there. 1, 2. And Max Bell kicks out, as that was almost a 3 count from both superstars. As Richard Thompson now, another roll up here from Max Bell. 1. And another kick out from Richard Thompson. And now a Thez press by Max Bell, punching Richard Thompson away in the face as Richard Thompson's busted open. And now to the top rope, 450 splash into the cover. 1. No, Richard Thompson still stays alive. And what is it going to take to put either of these superstars away? Max Bell once again, pedigree there. And now into the cover. 1, 2, 3, and Max Bell with, one could say, the upset. Max Bell defeats Richard Thompson in a big, this is a big victory for Max Bell. Wait a minute, what? That's Ryan Mitchell. Ryan Mitchell taking out Max Bell and Richard Thompson here. What does Ryan want? So Ryan Mitchell getting an opportunity to vent his frustrations, I guess, taking his anger out on Richard Thompson and Max Bell. But now let's move on to another matchup here, as it'll be Nicholas Colt coming down to the ring, your UCW champion. And as we know, he had a match. I apologize for that. But Nicholas Colt, he had a matchup. Of course, he won the title back on the first episode of Wednesday Night Wipeout. He won that Fatal 4-Way. He ended up going on to defend the championship against Demon Douglas at Overboard. Sorry, I just ate, and yeah, I apologize for that. I had to clear my throat, but now I'm good. I'm all good. All good. So anyway, let's get into this. It's Nicholas Colt, the UCW champion. And I've said this before, that the, like, belt for it, like the, not the, what would you call it, the plating or whatever, but like the actual strap, it's supposed to be white, and for whatever reason, it's like defaulting it back to that, the original title I got it from, so don't know what the reasoning is behind that. But I've tried to fix that, and it's still the same. But anyway, Nicholas Colt's opponent will be Jesse Sullivan, the other superstar, who I said earlier, their entrance theme got a claim for it. So I doubt, like, commentating a lot.
I mean, it's worth a try, I guess, because I know sometimes I've heard from other YouTubers that say if you're doing commentary and you just take like a little bit of a pause, even the in-game audio can get claims, so I'm not sure. I mean, this is like soundtracks from previous WWE games, so I don't know. It probably doesn't count as though it's okay to use. I mean, maybe if it was part of the game, but I don't think that really counts, so I guess we'll have to see how things turn out. But I can't really take a pause now to see if, you know, if I get a copyright or not. Or not a copyright, but to get a claim. So, I don't know. I'm still working on the whole issue, but, you know, like I was saying, if you take a pause, something like this, and then, you know, something in the background can get claimed for whatever reason. But if you, like, continuously talk over it, I guess you don't get a claim. I don't understand. Some of the things YouTube copyrights is weird, and then some of the things they don't get, like, you know, you'll see full-length WWE matches, or you'll get, like, music albums are going to be on there and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't even know what's up with YouTube lately, but definitely I heard, I don't know, the way that it's going to be with monetization now is there's this whole weird process. Like, I don't know, apparently if you have like a guideline violation or like a copyright strike or something, then you're not going to be able to, I don't know, like you can't instantly monetize, but they didn't really say anything about if you didn't have one of those, if you'd be able to instantly monetize still. So I don't even know what the whole thing with YouTube is, but like I'm trying to be careful with the claims I dispute. Like, I got some weird ones from THQ that I disputed. Those actually went away, which is pretty cool, even on some of my older videos that had claims from a while back. Like, false claims. Like, for example, my Over the Limit pay-per-view, I had a THQ claim on that, and I disputed that, but I also got a false claim. Well, I'm going to assume it's false, but, I mean, because the company that's by it's like, I don't know. I had like an audio claim on Edge's theme, which was in the game, and it wasn't by WWE Music. It was some third party thing. So, or not third party, but I don't know. It said like Ad Rev Music or something like that. I don't know. Hopefully, disputing it isn't gonna get it like a strike or whatever. But I mean, it wasn't there originally, and it just came about with this whole YouTube copyright thing. So I disputed it, assuming it was false. So, you know, some of my older videos that I had, I even got a new WWE claim on my very first episode of WWE 13 Universe Mode, which was weird, but WWE actually removed that, which is cool. So yeah, I actually managed to get some old false claims removed from older videos. I went back and did that. But I'm not going to dispute anything, you know, like music-wise that is claimable, because I don't want to get, you know, a copyright strike or something. Something ridiculous like that. But I think I've talked enough about copyright and, you know, all the other YouTube issues in this video. So I'm going to go ahead and let's talk about the match here. It's Jesse Sullivan and Nicholas Colt. So Nicholas Colt going off the ropes there. And there's a nice clothesline from Jesse Sullivan there as he's turning Nicholas Colt inside out. And now a leg drop. But these two superstars, of course, I already mentioned Nicholas Colt, ECW champion. He had a matchup. Well, he was supposed to face Forza 2 weeks ago after the UCW Overboard pay-per-view on the first episode of Wipeout. Post-pay-per-view, I guess. And he was supposed to face Forza. In the end, Forza just came out, choke-slammed Nicholas Colt for his debut, and then was going to attack him with a chair, but then Therme came in to make the save. So Nicholas Colt still has some issues with Forza, and in fact, Forza, I'm hearing, I don't know, I hear that Sledder, he's got a bit of a statement to make next week, so I guess we're going to have to see what the whole issue is going on there. But anyway, we have Jesse Sullivan here, who, like I said, he was a former tag team champion at Overboard. He cost his team the win by DDTing Keenan X and then dragging Chris Xavier over Keenan for the pin. So Keenan, he's got some issues with Jesse Sullivan, as we all know. And hopefully we'll get to see them face off sometime soon. Maybe
maybe at the Extreme Apocalypse PPV we might get a matchup between these two. But anyway, like I was saying earlier about Forza, I'm sure he's probably going to get named #1 contender. Ooh, nice impaler there from Jesse Sullivan. But, I mean, Sledder, I'm sure he's probably going to end up naming Forza #1 contender or something. Because, I mean, Forza, he did just get a victory over Xander James earlier on tonight. And, I mean, because Therme was messing with him, or not messing with him, but Therme cost him the matchup last week. And, I mean, Forza, he is pretty much Sledder's top guy at this point in time, so I could see him getting a title shot. But off the pile driver, Nicholas Colt just manages to kick out there at 2. And now Jesse Sullivan has got him up against the ropes there. Wait a minute, that's Keenan X! Keenan X with a spear to Jesse Sullivan. And this is a no disqualification match. I probably should have said something sooner, but Keenan X speared Jesse Sullivan there. Keenan X must have came in from the crowd or something. He came from out of nowhere. And now Jesse Sullivan trying to get back into things here, but Nicholas Colt, this is a great opportunity for him to take the advantage here. And now, kick to the gut, and a stunner to Jesse Sullivan there. And now Nicholas Colt could go for the win here. He's punching at the air there, I guess, trying to hype up the crowd maybe. And now he goes into the cover. 1, but Jesse Sullivan kicks out, and Nicholas Colt probably shouldn't have taken that time to pander to the, not pander, but whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, 2 kicks there from Colt, line,
And turns it into a neck breaker to Jesse Sullivan. So Nicholas Colt now trying to get fired up, trying to get back into this, as he sends Jesse Sullivan over the top rope to the outside. And Nicholas Colt now looking to take the fight to the outside, bringing the fight to Jesse Sullivan. Nicholas Colt now back on offense, has Jesse up against the barricade, but Jesse Sullivan trying to fight back. And now Nicholas Colt, Irish whip, sending Jesse into the barricade there. And now there's a headbutt to Jesse Sullivan. As now Nicholas Colt once again throwing Jesse Sullivan into the barricade. Referee now at a count of 4. And Nicholas Colt measuring him. And there's a spear through the barricade. Nicholas Colt. We're at a 5 count already. And as you can see through the instant replay, Jesse, he's already taken a spear from Keenan X. And now Nicholas Colt spearing Jesse Sullivan through the barricades. We're now up to a 6 count. And Nicholas Colt make a count out here if Jesse Sullivan can't make it back to his feet. Referee already at a count of 7. And now Jesse Sullivan miraculously makes it back to his feet there. As now Nicholas Colt takes him down and working on the ankle here. As now he could have Jesse Sullivan all but done here. As now a single leg Boston Crab, Jesse Sullivan trying to crawl to the ropes if he can get a rope break or maybe power out of this one. But Jesse Sullivan, he's already taken 2 big spears, and that'll definitely damage the ribs. But now Jesse Sullivan trying to get back in control here. And there's a kick to the gut of Nicholas Colt as the Irish whips him into the corner. And now Jesse Sullivan kick to the gut. And now he's setting him up for what looks like a a split leg corkscrew moonsault there onto Nicholas Colt. As now Jesse Sullivan sets him up for a suplex stunner there. And that could break your jaw, folks, a move like that. And now Nicholas Colt with a nice counter. And he's going to send Jesse... Oh, no, he pulled him back into a power slam. Nice move there. Trying to use Jesse Sullivan's momentum against him. And now he's got a camel clutch locked in. And Jesse, he's got to crawl. He's going to have to fight out of this one once again. But he's already taken some damage to those ribs here. As Jesse manages to piggyback him up there. And he powers out of it, able to break out of that camel clutch. And now Jesse Sullivan has him in a headlock. Big uppercut there from Jesse. And now he went for the kick to the gut, but Nicholas Colt turns it around into that kick there. And now there's a kick to the leg of Jesse Sullivan. As Nicholas Colt now goes on the cover. 1, 2, but Jesse Sullivan just manages to kick out there. It was a very close call there for Jesse Sullivan. And now he sends Colt off the ropes. And there's a nice German suplex there onto Nicholas Colt. And Jesse Sullivan could be looking to put Nicholas Colt away this time. Big DDT planting Nicholas Colt into the mat, busting him open. And now Jesse, well, I thought he was going to go for the cover there. And he went for a big boot, but no. I'm guessing Jesse Sullivan is here trying to inflict more punishment on Nicholas Colt after being attacked by Keenan earlier on in this match. Might have a little bit more frustration, and it could be starting
to take over here, start to cloud his judgment. Now Nicholas Colt back in control there with a nice amateur wrestling takedown. And now he hooks the leg. One, but no, Jesse manages to stay alive. And there's a kick to the gut from Nicholas Colt. And a big left hand there. A nice left hook. Busted Jesse Sullivan wide open. And now it's Nicholas Colt with a jawbreaker there. Make sure
Jesse Sullivan is out of here. Hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3, and Nicholas Colt defeats Jesse Sullivan there. Although Jesse Sullivan, he did put up quite a fight, but with interference from Keenan and fear of the barricade, not to mention that knockout punch there, the left hand, it was too much for... Wait a minute, what the... The lights went out, and now it's Forza. Forza looking at some revenge on here with a choke slam there, and Forza, even though Nicholas Colt won the match, Forza walks out with the last laugh here tonight.